Hi, my name's Todd Stanton and I'm going to be showing you how to draw Julian from my book, A Mouse Called Julian. I've drawn him many times on buses, in cafes and in my studio, but today I'm drawing him in a kitchen, which is a first for me, so it should be interesting. So the way I start to draw Julian is I think about two very simple shapes, a triangle and a circle. Get the triangle first. And then the circle has to just be slightly smaller than the triangle's body because Julian has a big head, but not quite that big. So we'll sketch in the circle there. And we need to think about keeping these lines as light as possible. So when we go over the top with the fine detail, they won't all get merged together. So we've got the triangle here, the circle head, and then we can start adding in the details. So he's got two big ears to listen to foxes with. You've got one ear slightly overlapping the other because this is a side-on view. And we're going to come down to his little nose, which will point out slightly from the rest of the circle, down to his chin. And the back of Julian's head is quite messy. He's got lots of bits of raggedy hair. Hasn't had a haircut in a while. So add that in there. Add some details to his ears, some ear fluff. I'm sure everyone's got some ear fluff. One of the main things I always think when I'm drawing Julian is he's quite an anxious little mouse, so you've got to give him quite a big, worried looking eye most of the time. I'm going to draw him looking behind just in case there are any predators on the prowl. Maybe a little eyebrow raise, just being careful to whatever's behind him. Add some shading under his eye. Maybe some fur detail. So now we can move on to the body. Julian wears his little blue polo shirt with a singular button on the top. Now we can start thinking about what his arms and legs are doing. So in this image I'm going to draw Julian carrying a big haul of blueberries he's found in the forest. So we're going to have one arm coming up. You keep it light for this point, just keep it sketchy. And another arm swinging behind him. And then his legs. One down, one coming up in a big stride. He's got quite wide trousers, kind of flares like your mum and dad probably used to wear at a certain point in their life. Start adding in the arm detail. His little paws, although I've given Julian quite human hands in my book because he needs to pick things up. He uses a big spoon and he uses his matches and things. Add the hand in there. Some detail to his shirt. Shading to his legs. I've tried to keep his clothing quite simple because I feel like mice, they probably wouldn't be too extravagant, you know, in their clothing choices. Not like a frog or a badger or something. A bit of shading for the ground. Now we've got to start adding the stick with all the blueberries on. So you've got to think of it like, you know, it's a little stick to us, but it's a huge branch to Julian, so it'll be quite a struggle to carry all of these blueberries. So it'll really be weighting him down slightly. Start adding the twigs on the end, and then the blueberries, and all the blueberries will probably be maybe just a little bit smaller than his head. So we start adding in there. Blueberries have a little star thing on the top. Add in all those blueberries. You can always go back in later and add some shade. And then now, once you've finished drawing Julian, you can start adding in his environment. So one of the funnest things for me when I was drawing Julian was thinking about how everything seemed in relation to a tiny little mouse. So, you know, little pebbles to us will be huge stones blocking Julian's path. And tiny, you know, like a 4-leaf clover would be something that maybe he could use as a parasol. So you could maybe add one of those in. Add in bits of grass, some more detail, some more little rocks. And I've just noticed I've missed his tail, so we'll add that in here. Just weaving through the grass. So that's my Julian finished. I hope you enjoy drawing your own.